Today I'm Tanya, Aneja, and with me is Shail Bhatnagar, our markets editor. Well, it's a muted day of trade for the Indian markets, but where are the pockets of opportunities and what should be your strategy? We'll discuss this. But first, let's do one thing. Let's take a quick market check and see what the markets are doing at this point in time. And if you see Nifty is actually hovering around that 19,400 mark and currently trading at 19,390 odd level, down 20 points as we speak. Nifty Bank also trading on a flattish note at this point in time. 43,617 is the level on Nifty Bank. But let's see how the broader markets are doing, and actually mid cap and small cap, these stocks continue to outperform and continue to perform better than the benchmarks. So mid cap, if you see, it's trading at 40,024 odd level. Green uptick there, 0.2% higher, and small cap also, if you see, that index is also trading 79 points higher at 13,224 odd level. Let's do one thing. Let's pull up some of the gainers for you from today's trading session, and it's the pharma day today, and Sun Pharma is the top gainer. Remember, we discussed Sun Pharma in the morning trade today. One of our market guests, he recommended this stock, and it was his picks which he recommended to our viewers in the morning trade, and it is the top gainer for you. We have Dr. Reddy's as well from the Pharma pack, up around 1%. SBI, Cipla are some of the other gainers for you from today's trading session. Now, on the flip side, if you see some of the top losers, Hero Moto, that is not supporting the market at this point in time. It is down 1%. 3127 is the level where we are at. And DP's lab after the results. Street clearly not liking the numbers coming in from this company. Coal India, ITC, Reliance, these are among the other losers for you from today's trading session. But Shail, I remember, you said that Mangalvar hai, Mangal hi hoga. And we have recovered from today's low, and I would say it's a muted day on the Lal Street. However, the bounce has been much stronger than the correction.
Good afternoon, Tanya, and a very warm welcome to hundreds of people who are joining us from different parts of the world. Tanya, the main story in today's market has been the dip that has been purchased, and this was discussed very early in pre-market trades only. While you see the Nifty and the Bank Nifty doing nothing at all in terms of losses that they have incurred on a net basis, but the story is very different. If we look at the Nifty chart on an intraday basis, yesterday's low has been tested. If you remember, 19,340 is something that we discussed in the first 10-15 minutes of trade, and from 19,340 we have moved up to 19,410. That basically means a 70-point rise on the Nifty alone from day's low. So this is the buy on dip that I'm talking about, which should be kept in mind, that you buy the dip from a point of view of strength, which was the first support level. And similarly, if you see on Bank Nifty, which is on T-1 today, it shows 43,605, but the low was 43,300. So it's a 300-point move that the index has given, and these are the ones that need to be tracked. Let's go to Nilesh Jain, Assistant Vice President for Technical Research at Centrum Broking. Good afternoon, Nilesh, and a very warm welcome to you on Market Today at Business Today Television. What are the couple of stocks that you are looking at in the latter part of the day, and how do you see sentiment on any of the indices that catch your fancy?
Very good afternoon to you. Well, absolutely. Today we have seen a good recovery from the lower levels, and yesterday's low has been tested again. But on the upside, we have multiple resistances, starting with 21 DMA that is placed at 19,410. So that needs to be taken off on immediate basis for upside move to continue towards 19,500, 19,550. We expect going forward, markets are likely to remain on a positive side. So outlook continues to remain on a positive side with the buy on decline approach till the time Nifty doesn't break 90,200 on the lower side. So we have buy ideas. So first of all, from banking space, Federal Bank is looking positive, where we have seen a good recovery from the lower levels, and it has started forming a high top and high bottom formation. So the upside is open for 152 to 155. Currently it is at 147 levels. Stop loss should be placed below 144. If we talk about OMC stocks, BPCL, where we have seen earlier, we have seen a falling wedge pattern breakout. And currently, if we look at the overall setup, that is indicating a further upside move to continue towards 378 to 385. And stop loss should be placed below 365. Apart from that, if you look at the other
Recording in
stocks,
progress.
so that is from the pharmaceutical space, Sun Pharma, where we have seen a fresh breakout from its multiple resistances. So Sun Pharma looks strong for the upside move to continue towards 1200 plus. Stop loss can be placed below 1152.
Okay, Sun Pharma is something that we had discussed in the morning trade as well. It was Akshat's top pick at that point of time, and at the moment it's possibly the top gainer as far as the Nifty stocks are concerned. Yes, 1.5% higher. With a 2.9% rise in open interest volume. Let's look at stocks that are in the news and doing extremely well. Let's pull up the stock for Trent Limited. The company came up with a fantastic set of numbers that was announced somewhere like 2:30 at 2 o'clock, and the numbers are really good. That's prompting the stock to hit an all-time high in trade today. The last time I checked the price, it was somewhere above 2400. It is also the top gainer as far as stocks are concerned. Since it's already shot up so much, there's no point taking a technical view because it looks completely overstretched. And the other stock that needs to be brought to your attention is Bombay Stock Exchange, crossing the 2000 rupee level and on fairly substantial volumes. Of course, it's a fresh record high. At the moment, 32 lakh shares are traded. Mr. Jain, coming to you, your view on Bombay Stock Exchange, if at all?
The view is still on a positive side. We have seen a good formation of a high top and high bottom on the weekly time frame chart. So that basically indicates that any decline, if at all we see, that might get bought into. And the upside is still very much open for 2050 to 2100 sort of levels. But looking at the recent spurt that we have seen in this particular counter, it is not advisable to chase this particular counter at the high levels. Better wait for some meaningful correction, and then probably it can be bought in the range of 1900 to 1880, keeping stop loss below 1800, and the upside target that we are expecting is near about 2050 to 2100.
Okay, absolutely. And I think we should pull up Federal Bank. It was Nilesh's pick as well. And it is up 2% as we speak. Top FNO gainer from the banking sector. Nilesh Mangon for Federal Bank. Any other pick that you would like to suggest from the banking space?
From banking space, if you look at the large cap names like Axis Bank, so that is another counter that is looking positive, and also IndusInd Bank that is also showing strength. So out of all these, we are liking Axis Bank, looking at the recent breakout that we saw yesterday. So the stock has come up from its consolidation range, and the upside is open for 1040 to 1060. So Axis Bank could be our second preferred bet from the banking space. One can keep a stop loss below 1000. Upside is open for 1040 to 1060.
Okay, these are the two stocks that are creating a lot of enthusiasm. A couple of points on Federal Bank as well, at 2.3% higher. I'm sure this stock is trying to retrace its all-time high. Just let me check. I'll give you a feedback on this one. The all-time high for the counter is about 152.59. That is probably in grasp over the next 2 or 3 trading sessions. And what else is clicking in the green as far as FNO is concerned? We could have checked persistent, but such is the high ticket size for the counter that it takes a lot of strength to sort of buy this kind of a space. 61. Let's leave it. Let's look at Bajaj Finance, and that's the reason that one, it's the FinNifty expiry today, and of course there is an 8,000 crore rupee QIP also open for this particular counter, completely sideways, not doing anything at all. 74.75 is what we have as far as the markets are concerned. To you, Nilesh, the top gainer in the auto space is Escorts, 31.38 with a 10% surge in open interest. Would you have a view on Escorts?
See, Escort, after a recent decline and a consolidation today, it seems like it is forming a bullish engulfing sort of candlestick formation. Good price and volume breakout can also be seen on a daily time frame chart. So we might see a follow-up move in coming sessions, and the structure looks positive for a pullback to continue towards 3200 on immediate basis, and beyond that, it can move towards 3250 to 3300. So risk and reward is certainly favorable at current level. One can keep a stop loss below 3050, and it can be initiated on the long side for the upside target of 3200 to 3250.
Nilesh, RR Kabel, it is also one of the stocks that is actually buzzing in today's trading session. If you let, I would request my PCR team if they could actually pull up the stock, because the stock is on a roll after the numbers. The profit has doubled to 74 odd crore rupees. Last year, the profit was 35 odd crore rupees, and on the back of stellar numbers, this stock is also buzzing and supporting the markets as we speak. Your thoughts on RR Kabel?
So RR Kabil, a good structure. In fact, the data are slightly limited, but whatever data I have, the structure looks positive. It has taken out its recent swing high, and it looks like it is heading towards 1600 to 1650. But it is not advisable to chase this particular counter at current level. The stock is already up close to 10%. Better wait for some meaningful correction and can be bought in the range of 1480 to 1500. One can keep a stop loss below 1450, and the structure is still looking positive for 1550 to 1600.
Okay, this is where RR Kabel stands. Remember, this was a very well received IPO, and the another IPO that listed today was, of course, Honasa Cosmetics. That's doing pretty well despite a lot of naysayers in the market. At the moment, Honasa is trading at 333.25. The opening quote was 322, and the stock listed at a minute, minuscule premium of 2-3% from its IPO price. These are the 2 or 3 things that are new in the market today, which you should pay attention to. And over a period of time, we will also show you. The an interview with the management of Nykaa. That is one stock that is buzzing. We'll keep an eye on that as well. But for the moment, there seems to be quite a lot of activity happening in the F&O space. One stock that I'd like to check with Nilesh is IOC. There has been a very sharp movement over the last 4 or 5 trading sessions, but a technical view will always be helpful. Nilesh, to you, are the charts look overstretched?
Absolutely, slightly overbought. Looking at the run up that we saw in last 6-7 consecutive sessions, the stock gave a breakout at 95, and post then it has also continued its up move. So looks slightly overbought, but I would still advise to remain long. Those who are already holding the long position, keeping a trailing stop loss below 100, and the upside is still very much open for 110, but not advisable to buy at current level. In this week itself, it is already up close to 8%. But a better alternative within this space we have already highlighted, that is BPCL, where the run-up is not that sharp as we have seen in IOC. So BPCL can be looked to buy as a fresh buying opportunity at current level. And apart from that, HPCL, again, we have seen a good move in that particular counter today. So better look at BPCL rather than IOC.
Okay, now let's shift focus to Nykaa. So the company is in focus after the second quarter numbers, and numbers, if you see, Nilesh, uh, the profit has actually increased by 50% to 7.8 crore rupees from 5.2 crore rupees earlier. And the stock is in the green, 2% uptick there, trading at 150. First, let's take your technical view. And then I spoke to Anjit Nair also of Nykaa Beauty. Then we'll go across to that conversation. But first, your technical check on Nykaa.
Well, Tanya, if you look at the overall structure of past 1 year, the stock has faced resistance multiple times towards 158. Now, today as well, we have seen some amount of profit taking at the high levels. So I would rather wait for a decisive breakout over 158 to get into this particular counter on the long side. And post breakout, we can expect to further upside move to continue towards 172. Maybe probably it can move towards the 200 as well. But for that, we need to wait and watch out for that particular breakout. The crucial and important support is still placed at 140. So those who are already holding the long position can keep a stop loss below 140 and stay put for the upside target of 158 on immediate basis, and post breakout probably 175 to 180.
Okay, absolutely. That's the technical view coming in on Nykaa. And I also spoke to Anchit Nair, who is the CEO of Nykaa Beauty. Listen in.
So, Anchit, firstly, tell us how did the idea come about and what is Nykaa Land exactly?
No, I think you said it well, which is this is the first of its kind event, not only in India but maybe in the world, and it's a very unique event where we're allowing for the first time thousands of Indian consumers, beauty shoppers, to come and experience their favorite brands from all around the world. We have over 80 brands, both global and local, who've participated today. And there will be a lot of education, a lot of entertainment, and a lot of opportunities for our consumers to experience the best the world has to offer. And, you know, for us at Nykaa, we are synonymous with beauty in India. And we have a responsibility to the beauty shoppers in India to give back and to give them an opportunity to experience events like these. So that's really the idea behind this. It was an idea we had actually prior to the pandemic, but unfortunately, because of the pandemic, we couldn't do this event. So we finally done it. We're expecting tens of thousands of customers over the weekend, and it's going to be a one of a kind event in India.
Got that. And tell us about some of the international brands that are participating in Nykaa Land.
I mean, the list is endless, and I would encourage you to publish or see the full list. I mean, we've got the best brands in the world today, whether it's MAC, whether it's Maybelline, whether it's The Ordinary, Charlotte Tilbury, Huda, Pixie, Minimalist. The list goes on and on. So as I said, Nykaa is and continues to be the number one destination for global brands when they look to access the Indian market. And 80 of them are on display this weekend at Nykaa Land.
And what are your expansion plans when it comes to Nykaa Land?
No, so look, I think we've been quite impressed with the reception that we've received for the event. So I can't really comment on exact expansion plans, but we think this concept is highly scalable. Customers are going to love it. And so I think stay tuned. I think you'll definitely see a lot more from Nykaa Land.
And lastly, Nykaa Beauty and Nykaa Fashion. How are these categories growing and what's the outlook going forward?
So I can't comment on exact growth numbers because obviously we have our earnings on Monday. What I can say is that longer term, India is expected to be one of the fastest growing and largest markets for both beauty and fashion in the world. I think the kind of growth that China saw in the past decade for beauty is the kind of growth that not only ourselves but our global partners are expecting to see from India in the next 10 years. So India is the most exciting, the most promising market for beauty companies in the world for the next 10 years. So again, I think it's going to become one of the largest and fastest growing beauty economies in the world.
So that was Nykaa Land for you. And Shail, by the way, Nykaa Land was actually one of a kind event. And actually 80 international and Indian brands participated. And it happened in Mumbai last weekend. I was also there at the event. So clearly one of a kind event.
Right, Tanya. The point that I would like to make as far as Nykaa is concerned is that there was just an extreme level of over enthusiasm once the IPO was launched, and it is one of those stories where the English idiom of acting in haste and repenting at leisure proves to be true. If you see the overall stock price of Nykaa, because there is a stock split, the counter has corrected from 425 rupees to about 110, and from there has been a mild uptick to what you see now. One has to be very cautious with such companies when it comes to the kind of enthusiasm that you see in the market on social media platforms. So please be doubly and uh, be assured many times by an independent financial advisor what to do on these kind of stocks. There is no point getting into a price which might make you repent later. At the moment, 150 rupees for you, and some of the rub off that you see on Nykaa is because of the listing of another competitor today, Mama Earth, which is better known as Honasa Cosmetics. So with that overall, thought process in mind, it is only then should you look at Nykaa, if at all. And even if you look at Nykaa, then please do take another financial view from an independent advisor. Coming back to Nifty, now still flat at about 19,400, down 12. It's the last 36 minutes of trade, which will now set the tone for tomorrow. Remember, tomorrow would be T-1 for Nifty, and it will be also the weekly expiry of Bank Nifty. Lots of things that keep on clashing on a daily basis as far as the FNO space is concerned. So that is what you need to take care of, and it's the Bank Nifty which is now at the day's high, reaching out to the first resistance of the day of 43,707 as far as intraday trades are concerned. Remember, the rally moved from 43,320, a low of intraday today, to 720 now, which means a 400 point move that's come in as far as prices are concerned. Getting Nilesh into the conversation. Nilesh, would you hold a view on Bank Nifty from these levels?
Certainly, looking at the today's low, where Bank Nifty has found support of its 200-day simple moving average, that is placed exactly at 43,216, and exactly from those levels we have seen a recovery. So that clearly shows that the buyers are likely to have some sort of upper end in the market, in specifically in the banking space. And a couple of heavyweights where we have seen a strong move, counters like Axis Bank, Federal Bank, and also Kotak Mahindra Bank. So we are witnessing some positive move in the banking space. So given the fact, I believe that from here, Bank Nifty should move towards the 43,800 to 44,000. Maybe probably we might see in the tomorrow's trading session on the back of weekly expiry, Bank Nifty, we might see a short covering move, and upside is open for 44,000. Post breakout above 44,000, there will be another leg on the upside, which will open further upside towards 44,500 to 44,700. But yes, at current level, the structure looks positive, can be bought at current level and on decline, keeping stop loss below 43,200 in the spots.
I think, Shail, we should look at HPCL as well, and then I'll come to KPIT as well. That is also trading at record highs. But first, HPCL, Nilesh, to you. The company posted stellar numbers, and it turned profitable. Profit came in at 5,826 odd crore rupees, and this is against a loss. So, what would be your advice for HPCL?
See, Tanya, overall OMC stock, as we discussed, is looking positive on the charts, specifically counters like IOC, where we have already seen a spurt, HPCL today on the back of numbers. We have already seen that kind of spurt. So the structure is still looking positive, but it's not advisable to buy at current level, because in last almost 8 to 10 consecutive sessions, we have seen an up move in HPCL from 240 to almost close to 280. So after this kind of run up, I would rather wait for some meaningful correction to get into this particular counter. Although the upside is very much open for 290 to 295. Within this space, as I mentioned, we are liking BPCL over HPCL and IOC. But yes, if somebody is already holding the long position in HPCL, can stay put.
Okay, and now coming to KPIT, Nilesh, the company has raised FY24 guidance as well, and this stock has been buzzing off late. Actually, mid-cap IT companies have been performing much better than the large caps. But what would be your advice for KPIT Tech?
See, within midcap ITs, KPIT has been one of the outperformer and constantly hitting all-time highs. So structure-wise, there is no doubt that we can expect further upside move to continue towards 1300 on immediate basis, and probably 1400 to 1450 on a position point of view. But as I mentioned, overall, the risk and reward is again not favorable at current level, but structure is looking positive. So better buy in a staggered manner, keep a stop loss below 1150, and one can continue to stay put in this particular counter as well.
And any other mid cap IT pick that looks good on charts?
So overall, within mid-cap IT space, we have seen a strong momentum in the counters like VSOC, Birlasoft, but looks slightly overbought at current level. So I would rather wait for some decline in this particular counter as well, and probably after that we can look into this.
Okay. Some other stocks we'll keep an eye out, and the PCR will draw a chart of Vedant Limited for you. There is hardly any other stock in the market which is more hated because of issues relating to corporate governance at that point of time, apart from Vedanta. And it is here that a lot of long-term sensible traders and investors jump in. The stock actually is the top performer in the metal space as far as the FNO space is concerned, up 11% in the month of November so far. Nilesh, would you have a medium-term outlook on Vedant? Just about a week ago, it was trading at about 213 rupees, mostly around its March 2021 lows. That's something that at least some sensible traders have latched on to the long side.
So we have already seen a carnage from the levels of close to 290, and it has reached to the levels of 210. But good part is that after this kind of correction, the stock is making an attempt to form a short-term base, and that's a good sign probably. And recently, it has taken off its crucial resistance of 232. So that should be the immediate support for this particular counter. On a short to medium term point of view, we expect a gradual recovery, and stock might move towards 250 to 260. Major breakout or a major trend reversal level is placed at 260. So I would rather wait for a more confirmation and a breakout about 260. That will give a more confirmation on this particular counter. But at current level, I think one can stay put for the upside move to continue towards 250 to 260.
Fair point. That is the view that is coming in on Vedant. But like I said, few trade where long-term buyers and long-term traders work in terms of pain. So Vedanta is one stock which from 213 has moved very sharply to 238 simply because of a lot of how should I say discord between what investors perceive the company is doing and what actually the company intends to do. Be that as it may, भाव भगवान है और वही आपको बढ़िया तरीके से काम करता हुआ दिखेगा. Let's look at an options trade that we had discussed yesterday. In front of you will be Jindal Steel and Power. The counter is at its day's high at about 633 rupees in front of you, and as of yesterday we had discussed the 620 call on this particular stock at a price of about 17 rupees. The call is doing pretty well now at the moment at about 22.45. Let's see whether we have it on air or not. Yes, there it is. Technically, how do you see Jindal Steel and Power, Nilesh? Anything that catches your fancy here?
So a good support it has found near about 580 to 600 zone, and in last 3-4 sessions we have seen a good rebound. I think this pullback what we are witnessing may extend further towards 645 to 650. 650 is still acting as a major barrier, so that needs to be taken off for the upside move to continue towards 680 to 700. But yes, still looks positive for this particular pullback to continue. One can keep a stop loss below 620 in the spot levels.
Okay, and this is also the right time to look at the Bank Nifty. Remember, we are sitting on T-1, 1 day ahead of the weekly expiry, and the index is at a fresh intraday high, 43,692, up 74 points. And the reason why this is happening is mainly on account of Axis Bank. It's the top index heavyweight gainer, up 1.7%, 1021. This is something that Nilesh had caught in early. In fact, amongst the heavyweights, all three banks, State Bank of India is up 1%, 579.20. Kotak Bank is up 0.5%, 1750. ICICI Bank is in the green, although it's a mild uptick, 946.90. And what is HDFC Bank doing? Well, 0.5% lower at 1486. These are the stocks that are contributing to the sharp rally that you see on Bank Nifty. And by sharp, I mean from the intraday low of 43,300 to what we see now, 43,700. It's grappling with its first resistance of the day at 43,707, and a bullish view coming in from Nilesh earlier in the show. What are you watching, Tanya?
The stock on my radar is Cochin Shipyard, Shail. So the company has approved the stock split also, and it has announced an interim dividend of 8 rupees per share. So coming to you, Nilesh, for Cochin Shipyard, the stock is up 4%, and this is after the announcement only. 1047 is the level where we are at. So I want to know it from you, that is the stock a little overheated at this point in time, or would you still buy?
I would still buy. Reason being, we have seen a gradual decline from 1200 to almost 900 levels. And after this kind of fall today, it has negated the formation of a lower top and low bottom, and also given a fresh breakout from a falling trend line. So structure looks positive. Stock is trading well above its 200-day as well as 50-day moving average. Looking at the today's price and volume action, I think we might see a further follow-up move going forward. So upside can be seen towards 1100 on immediate basis, and positionally the stock has a potential to make a fresh all-time high again. So I would rather I would rather buy at current level, and can also be bought at on declines as well, keeping stop loss below 1025. The upside target comes around 1100 to 1150.
1265, Tanya, is the all-time high for Cochin Shipyard. And with this announcement of a split, I am sure it will attract a fresh set of buyers. Fantastic move coming in, well caught by Nilesh and by you. But at the moment, I think it's Bank Nifty that's attracting all attention. It's taken out the resistance at 43,707, now trading 105 points higher at 43,724. Very sharp move coming in, and that's also because IndusInd Bank is at its day's high. I see a price of 1487. And Nilesh, coming to you, this is a very good development for shareholders of IndusInd Bank. The price that you see at the moment is the highest since pre-COVID, which is January of 2020. Your comments, Nilesh, on the medium-term chart of IndusInd Bank, what is it telling you?
A very strong setup. In fact, that this particular counter also came on my radar, but I was waiting for the confirmation to sustain at high level, and it looks like we might see a good closing today. And this particular breakout, what we have seen today, is indicating that the stock is getting ready to move towards 1550 to 1600 sort of levels. And from position point of view, I think it might test the levels of 1700 as well. So yes, it can be a good opportunity to get into this particular counter at current level, keeping stop loss below 1445, and the immediate target comes around 1520, and followed by 1550 and 1600.
So that's how the structure for IndusInd Bank is. And the moment Nilesh has pointed out, I see some small block deals happening of 3,800 shares, 3,400 shares. They are pretty small in size, but that's it. The highest price that you see from 1st of January 2020. So it's almost a 36 plus 8, 42-month high on IndusInd Bank as of now. That's how the structure is for the market. The Nifty flat, 8 points higher, 19,403. The Bank Nifty battling 43,700 between bulls and bears, and that's how the structure is as of now in the market. Tanya, what are you watching?
Well, I think we should discuss Gland Pharma as well. It is the top gainer from the Nifty Pharma pack. And Nilesh, if you see the results, we have seen a healthy top line growth of 32%, but margins have been on a weaker side. But the stock is, I would request the PCR team to, if they can pull up Gland Pharma for us, it is the top gainer from the Pharma pack. So, what do the technical charts suggest for Gland Pharma? It is trading at 758 odd level, Nilesh, at this point in time.
So Glenmark Pharma, which is currently at 758 levels, today we have seen some profit taking at the high levels, but the structure is still looking slightly on a positive side. If you look at the broader chart, the stock has formed a double bottom sort of formation at 730, 734 levels. I think that is going to be the major support zone. And keeping that as a stop loss, one can go long for the upside pullback to continue towards 780 to 800 on levels on the upside. But overall, within pharmaceutical space, I would still prefer.
Nilesh, I'm talking about Gland Pharma, not Glenmark. I'm talking about Gland Pharma.
Okay, Gland Pharma, you're talking about Gland, which is trading at 1653.
Yes.
Okay. So this particular counter, I think today it is making an attempt to negate the formation of a lower top and lower bottom. The structure, although the major structure, although looks slightly on a negative side, but this pullback, what we are witnessing in last two consecutive sessions, that might extend towards 1750 to 1800. But the major breakout zone is still placed at 1800. So I would rather wait for a breakout above 1800 to get a confirmation and get into this particular counter. But if somebody is already holding the long position, can continue to remain long, keeping stop loss below 1600.
Yeah, Pharma's on a roll, Tanya, and that was a great pick as far as markets were concerned. We marked Sun Pharma in the morning. We looked at Cipla, we looked at IPCA. These were the stocks that were doing pretty well, and that move continues during the day. We had Alchem Laboratories coming up with a good set of numbers. It's the top gainer, 5% higher. We have a fairly sharp move coming in Sun Pharma, as you rightly pointed out. This was the top gaining stock as far as the Nifty is concerned. And Aurobindo Pharma, I never fail to point out that this is the highest beta stock that I have ever seen, now climbing above the 900 point mark, up 2.7%. The battle between the bulls and the bears continues on the 43,700 level as far as the bank Nifty is concerned, 80 points higher, and the rally now enters the fourth day. It's beyond 200 DMA. That the index is now consolidating its strength and getting ready for tomorrow's expiry, the weekly expiry. Nilesh, I want to get your attention on Britannia, 46.51. The stock is trying to bounce from its 200 DMA. It's a counter that has suffered because of issues related to the airline of the industrial group that owns a majority stake in Britannia. Would you have a comment on how the structure of Britannia looks on the medium term?
Just now it has given a fresh breakout. This stock came on my radar as well. So good pick, I would say, and can be bought at current level for a BT as a BTST trade, as well as from a 2 to 3 days point of view. Stock is looking positive for upside move to continue towards 4,700 on immediate basis and 4,750 to 4,800 from little position point of view. So the structure is looking positive. The stock is breaking out from its consolidation zone, and we are witnessing slight open interest build up in this particular counter as well. So keep a stop loss below 4,600 for the upside target of 4,700 on immediate basis and 4,800 after that.
Okay, let's pull up NTPC as well. So, Shail, according to a report, the company has identified at least 9 states where it plans to build pumped hydro storage units with a total installed capacity of 14,000 megawatt. Now, this is, of course, according to a media report only. But coming to you, Nilesh, for NTPC, what do the technical charts suggest? 239 is the level where we are at this point in time.
So Tanya, the structure looks positive. As a part of disclaimer, yesterday only we have suggested it to our client for the upside target of 245 plus. So the structure looks positive and it can still be bought at current level and also on decline, keeping stop loss below 233. On the upside, the first level that we are eyeing could be at 245 and post then we can expect stock to move towards 250.
Okay, and any stock that catches your fancy, Shell?
Tanya, I have dozens of stock that catch my attention. Some of them we've already discussed, like Bombay Stock Exchange, and
No,
some we
because
can't
I'm asking
discuss, like
because you're always
Suzlon.
on point.
So, there's just so much of data coming in. We've discussed Britannia a moment ago. There's a very good move happening on Vedant. All these have been discussed on the long side. There's just a lot of activity. We discussed Britannia. Let me just find out a good call for you on Britannia. This is a move that is most likely to continue for an extended period of time. At the moment, it's at its day's high 46.63. Just give me a moment. Let's look at the 46.50 call. Would be a bit dangerous, but a lot of short covering is happening in the ITM calls of Britannia. This is a low liquidity trade, but it's there in front of you. At 46.50, the option call is at 73 rupees. I personally think it's very expensive, but it's moved, Tanya, from the point of view we started discussing, from 54 to about 73. So in a space of say 10-15 minutes, by the time I caught the stock, it has moved fairly sharply. So no point looking at it at this point of time, but this is how options are priced, and this is how momentum is caught, especially around the 200 DMA. You would be surprised to know till about a week ago this call was trading at 120 125 rupees, and at the moment you see a price of 54 that moved up very sharply to 76. Yesterday the price on this counter was 32. So if you have the ability to spot a winner when it comes to fundamentally strong stocks that are beaten down sharply, I think there is no better place than options to make supernormal money. That's how the markets are at the moment. The Bombay Stock Exchange, again fresh high, 20,023. I hesitate to take a technical view on this because it's already a record high, and there are risks associated with chasing momentum. Tomorrow if the market opens down, then you are left saddled with the stock. But like I said, the battle is on the bank nifty side, moving fairly rapidly. 43 736. Remember, we just spoke about it 2 or 3 minutes ago when the counter was below 43 700. Sustaining moves coming in, and a fairly sharp reason this time being ICICI Bank. Earlier it was IndusInd Bank, this time it's ICICI Bank running the show on the bank nifty, Tanya.
Okay, it's ICICI Bank that is running the show. But coming to you, Nilesh, the broader markets that continue to outperform and how. So, any picks that you would like to share from the mid cap and small cap space?
Absolutely, Tanya. So, looking at the Nifty Small Cap Index, which has hit a fresh all-time high today, and the broader markets are constantly outperforming the frontliners. So, one stock from the railway space that has given a breakout, that is Railtail. Railtail yesterday gave a breakout from a sideways consolidation. It looks like a triangle formation breakout. And today we have seen a follow-up move in this particular counter. So the structure is looking positive for 255 on immediate basis. and then after we can expect stock to move towards 270 as well. So rail tail can be bought at current level, keeping stop loss below 238 for the upside target of 260, 270.
Can't take my eyes off from Tata Elxsi Shail. We discussed this stock yesterday, if you remember, in the afternoon trade only. It was Vishali's pick, and it is up around 4% as we speak, 8,165. That's the level, 8,174 now on Tata Elxsi, 4% uptick there. What would you do, Nilesh, with Tata Elxsi?
In Tata Elxsi counter on 17th of October 2022, almost a year back, we saw a big crack, a big gap down was seen. And today, after almost a year, we have seen that this particular counter is filling that particular gap. So that is certainly a positive sign. And we can expect this positive move to continue further on the upside towards 8400 to 8500. But in last three sessions, this counter has moved from 7400 to almost 8200. So not advisable to buy at current level. The risk and reward is certainly not favorable. But if somebody is already holding the long position, can continue to ride this momentum for the upside target of 8400 to 8500.
Okay, Tanya, if you see the long-term chart of Tata Elxsi, there's been a very, very strong breakout. This was the last price that we saw on June of 2023. So 9th June to be specific. So 9th and 9th. So it's actually a 3-month breakout and a very sharp one at that. The reason why I point this out is you see somewhere like 66 lakh shares traded, which is the highest again since June, and we still have about 10 minutes left. So this is a breakout worth tracking. Not to say that you enter at 8180, but let the how should I say, the momentum calm down a bit, and then we'll again make a move into Tata Elxsi. But a great pick by Vaishali. I hope she's hearing us. This was the lady luck that I was pointing out yesterday, and at the same time a very, very strong move coming on Bank Nifty. Now it's 320, so there's no point taking trades because the prices will be readjusted according to their weighted average volume. But for the smart guys who are in the trade, they are definitely probably looking to carry over Bank Nifty calls on the long side for tomorrow. If there's a blast that happens in the early morning trade, then obviously you will see a gap up, and people will then be booking profit. Of course, this is one of the riskiest trades which one should take with a lot of adequate care. But such is the game point at the moment. ICICI Bank at day's high, IndusInd Bank at its day's high, RBL Bank at its day's high, so as true for Kotak as well as Axis Bank. So that's how momentum is being tracked in the markets as of now, and the activity going on fairly strongly on the options side. Tanya.
Absolutely, Shell. Let's see how the action pans out going forward. But Nilesh, coming to you, let's discuss chemical space, because we were discussing the space in the morning. And any stocks that you would like to recommend, or any stocks on your radar from this space? Because, and especially I'm talking about specialty chemicals. We have seen RT Industries and some other stocks doing pretty well of late. So any stocks that you would like to recommend?
Chemical as a whole, we are not that much bullish, but within this space, we are liking a couple of counters. One that you have just now mentioned, that is RT Industries. So we are expecting this pullback to extend further, and we expect a breakout as well in this particular counter. So the upside is open for 550 to almost 580 can be seen from near-term point of view, and one can keep a stop loss below 485. So that could be one counter that needs to be kept on radar. Apart from that, SRF is another counter that we are slightly more comfortable within this space, and we can expect further upside move to continue towards 2400 to 2420. Stop loss can be kept below 2300.
Well, there's this long build-up that is happening in Bank Nifty. Would you like to elaborate on that?
Yeah, Tanya, that's the yeah, yeah, Tanya. So that's what I'm trying to tell you, that there will probably be a gap up tomorrow morning. Other things remaining constant. If you look at the 5 or 6 index heavyweights, which is ICICI Bank, Axis, HDFC. Leave HDFC aside for a moment. IndusInd and Kotak. The last 15 minutes, uh, 30 minutes, and 60 minutes of trade shows a fairly decent build up, and overall during the day also we've got long build ups happening. So there is a high possibility that tomorrow morning you just might see a 100-200 point build up on Nifty options, and at that point of time, Bank Nifty option, and at that point of time the 43,700 call would possibly be one of the most good things to have. This is not to say that you should buy it now that it's already 320, and this is not the time to sort of look at it. But Bank Nifty, just let me show you the 43,700 call. What is it doing at the moment? Yes, it's at about 154 rupees, and remember when we started the show it was at 39. So that's how markets trap very strong moves on the momentum side as far as the options trade is concerned. And if you think that the counter has moved very sharply from 39 to 144, 154, let me just elaborate a bit further. On 19th October, this call was trading at 826 rupees. So that's how options trade work. You sell into very heavy enthusiasm on the long side, and you buy the pain, and that pain is purchased by a series of very good software which we are very blessed to have. But 325 in front of you, days high on Triton, Trent, fantastic set of earnings, 2438 in front of you, days high on Bank Nifty. In the cash markets, it's trading at 43,783, and while it's up only 162 points, but the story is that it's retraced from 43,300 to 43,785, and there is still some chance for it to move forward given the technical parameters that Sensible will track. Apart from that, Britannia days high 46.86, fairly strong moves coming in on all 4 index heavyweights in the banking sector: ICICI, IndusInd, Axis, and RBL Bank. And apart from that, the going is good. Nifty FMCG index at its day's high. Tanya, tomorrow we will watch the 4600 or 4650 call on Britannia. I'm sure it will give fairly strong returns. That is how the market is at the moment at 326. Tanya.
Absolutely, Shail, and that's why I was asking you, because you are the right person when it comes to FNO. But coming to you, Nilesh, would you agree with Shail when it comes to Nifty Bank strategy?
Absolutely, Tanya. As I mentioned at the beginning of the show as well, so looking at the structure of the counters like Kotak Bank, IndusInd Bank, Federal Bank, and also Axis Bank, I won't be surprised if today Bank Nifty surpasses 44,000 mark on the back of weekly FNO expiry for the Bank Nifty. So I will definitely agree to the what Sir has said, and I expect Bank Nifty to probably open on a gap up note and move beyond 44,000.
Okay, and any stocks that are on
चलिए
your
आपने
radar
मुझे
from the
निलेश जी घी
banking space?
शक्कर और
Bilkul, Shail, I think.
continue Tanya.
No, no, I was saying this, Shaloni, that why don't let's get his view on some of the stocks that he would like to recommend for tomorrow, or maybe stocks that are on his radar from the banking space, of course.
So I just want to reiterate two of the peak that I've just mentioned. Axis Bank from the heavyweight private sector banking space. I expect this particular counter to move towards 1040. Stop loss can be kept below 1008. Another counter is Federal Bank that we are liking for the upside target of 150 to 155 sort of levels on the upside, and stop loss can be kept below 144. And another counter from private PSU banking space that is just now hitting fresh high of the day, that is State Bank of India. So this particular counter is also looking positive for a further upside move to continue towards 585 to 590. We might see that kind of move in next 1 to 2 trading session. Stop loss can be kept below 575.
Okay. And coming back, Tanya, to my point on ghee shakkar, if there is one person amongst the three of us who can have it in copious quantities, it is only Nilesh. I don't need it.
I
I
also
like it a
don't.
lot, but I don't need it.
I'm avoiding sugar, Shail, abhi.
Only Nilesh. You shouldn't avoid sugar. It's the sector that is coming up in the market. How can you avoid that?
That's my
Anyway,
favorite thing,
but
but
very
that
strong.
doesn't support my
Yeah. Nilesh ji,
yes.
please go ahead.
So I was saying that's the most favorite thing what I like, but that doesn't support my immune system. So that is certainly a positive factor.
Oh,
Okay. So, Tanya, if you like ghee shakkar and you like sugar, therefore sugar stocks will go up, right? If you get negatively impacted by sugar, then diagnostic chains and hospital stocks will go up. So, no matter how you position yourself, there is one sector in the market there will definitely be benefited. We'll call it a day here, ladies and gentlemen. But on our way out, we'd like to mark three stocks. Trent at day's high 2450, Sun Pharma at day's high 1172. Remember, this was our first pick when the show started, and of course Bank Nifty day's high 43,772. We'll be watching the 43,700 call on Bank Nifty tomorrow morning. We'll be watching the 4650 call on Britannia tomorrow morning, and with that we leave it to you in terms of wrapping up the trade. Tanya.
absolutely, Shail. It was a muted day for the markets, but let's see how the action pans out. But Nilesh and Shail, thank you so much for being with us here on BT and sharing, excellent data with us as always. So with that edition of Market Today, but don't go anywhere. Lots more coming up for you. Stay tuned.
Hello and welcome to Business Today Television. I am Siddharth Zarabi, and with me